Welcome to Spiritual Clearings, where we clear and transmute the energies of the collective across time, space, and dimensions. Using the Akashic Records, we access imprints from the past, present, future, past lives, and parallel realities to bring truth, clarity, and soul-level healing into the now. Let's align with the highest frequency available today, shall we? Aloha, Candice Box here. Today's topic is when sadness turns to grief and grief turns to grievances. Why am I bringing this up today? Well, we're going into a 3-day weekend with Memorial Weekend coming up into place, and I'm feeling all the feels, especially as we remember not only those that have fallen in the military, but those we have lost in our own lives. And from the people to the relationships to the versions of ourselves to the dreams, there is a lot of grief coming up for the collective right now. And I have been witnessing it personally, as well as in the work that we are doing with New Paradigm Healing as we clear the collective. Hi, Lexi. Thank you so much for joining. And the thing is when sadness goes unseen, guess what happens? Grief goes unfelt. Then our pain has nowhere to go. So what does it do? It turns into anger. And it's not because we're bad or wrong. And it's not because, it's a way to just disidentify and, bypass it. But what's happening is anger protects what is vulnerable. And it sometimes begins to turn into a grievance where we begin to project it onto others. And it's all this grief in disguise. And here, what happens is we become upset because someone didn't show up the way that we thought it would. And they would, and we then project our stories onto them. And we harden and we have this heartbreak. And we protect ourselves from feeling what's underneath. And this means that this is not just anger, it's a lot of sadness wanting to be seen. And grief wants to be honored. We have this beautiful heart longing to be held and seen and witnessed, but it is so vulnerable sometimes that we'll utilize anger instead. And so what if we gave it to ourselves? What if we witnessed it for ourselves, shared it with others openly? What if we got supported in our grief? Because when the sadness is held, what happens is it begins to transform. And what's underneath the sadness is greater transformation of peace, love, and joy. It exists underneath all of that. And we have a greater capacity to love because we understand, the evolution and the changes that are occurring for our world and for ourselves. However, we often carry these grievances with us and we bring it to each moment of every single experience we have. And then it becomes heavier and it disconnects us and we are unable to feel alive because it's so heavy. And yet when you cry, what happens? You feel so amazing. So have you ever felt that where the grief feels so large that you just want to be angry and frustrated and it comes out in an annoyance when ultimately all you need to do is probably, go into your bed and cry? Well, I have for sure. I think for a lot of my life, I was quite angry, especially because people didn't show up the way I would want them to, because I was neglected and alone in my idea of neglected and alone in those times. And what happened was I hardened, I wore a mask on the outside and pretended to smile, thinking I'm letting everyone know I'm okay. But ultimately, no, I was pissed, right? And then below all that, I was actually really sad. And then what happens? I project out that anger onto those I love because they're not going to go anywhere, right? But ultimately, it gets to a point where you start burning bridges. People don't want to talk to you. And then you're just like, well, I'll find new friends. And then you find yourself going from new people to more new people. And then all of a sudden you're like, where'd everyone go? You know? And this has happened to me more than once, and especially because I don't grieve. I don't allow myself to feel sad in the past, up until now, for sure. And that grief begins to accumulate, right? And in that grief, it gets really, really heavy. And it is so heavy right now. I alone got, I don't know, maybe several calls today about so many things hitting the fan. Like shit be hitting the fan right now, seriously. And so, man, you kind of just sit and breathe, and I cry with them, because ultimately, you know, being held in that space, they feel like normal, they feel witnessed. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, because, you know, there's just a lot of angry people out there, and it's not that they're angry, it's just they're holding so much sadness that they haven't allowed themselves to grieve through yet. So I'm going to, I'm not able to play any songs anymore because I got in trouble for playing other people's songs, which is sad because I like being DJ. However, we're going to change things up, and I'm just going to make sure that everybody knows that I'm here. And I'm typing this in. Everyone. Okay. Girl, you're feeling it? I know, I'm feeling it too. Hi, EJ. Thank you so much for jumping on. So, okay. The grief collective energy is here. I mean, I think it's beautiful when we're actually feeling this, because that means on a on this planetary scale, we're moving from the anger to the sadness, right? We're changing up the vibe. And, you know, anger has this dissonance energy. It is transformative. It creates a lot of change. But sadness, that grief energy, really gets to the heart, to the root of the problem of like what we're all carrying. That then, lo and behold, today, you know, I was able to share something with someone that I've been holding in, and man, my neck was like cramping up like crazy, and I was just massaging my neck all day long, and I'm like, it's not going away. And I found a way to share it, and I did it very compassionately, gently, and I let go of the outcome. And with that, oh my God, my neck went, it like melted. I'm literally like, what the cuss? My neck feels so amazing. So, I mean, that's how it shows up, right? It's like, it shows up as pain in the body because it is holding inside of your body. And what do we want to do? We want to let it go. Let go of the outcome, let go of the attachment, let go of the protection, let go of all the things so we can surrender to the new energy, right? But what happens? We are afraid of the new energy because we think it's going to create more of the grievances, when that is not true at all. It is not. It actually, literally, I feel like a brand new woman. It feels like a whole new timeline. And that's what I want to share with you, because grief is natural. Sadness is natural. What happens is we just hold it in, and then we become these prickly pears. Like if anyone touches us, it's like, ooh, you just hurt me there. Ooh, you just hurt me there. And then we begin to protect ourselves, and we stay inside. And then we're like, we're not even going to go see people. We hate people. Do we really hate people? No, we just hate stupid people. You know, we do all these things to protect ourselves, right? So I want to address that today, because I would love this weekend to be super duper fun and also reflective, as well as releasing and purifying, as we say goodbye to some old identities within ourselves, say goodbye to unhealthy ways of being that we've been utilizing to cope with certain behaviors and reactions. I'd love to be able to grieve those that we have lost in ways that we remember, like the amazing people that they are, and not for the ideas of what we think they should have been or could have been, or the hurt or harm they could have caused or have caused. We just want to honor each and everyone's life. You know, in our New Paradigm Healing Academy, in the embodiment course, we were literally just talking about 6-dimensional energies, where everything is malleable. It's all energy. It's these constructs waiting to be really created and then implanted here on earth. And what we were talking about is that how everybody has their own realities. Hey, Amanda, thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you, Lexi. Yes. You know, in this idea of new reality, our own realities, like we have a set of ideas, and we grew up with different systems, environments, ways of being that we think everyone else lives by, because, you know, they live in close proximity, they live in United States, they are American, or they are a woman, they're a man. Like, there are so many different possibilities of who and what we are that, you know, who someone shows up to be, we should be in awe and wonder and curiosity, instead of putting on our grievances onto them, right? And so if we're putting our grievances onto them, we need to begin to look inward and look at where we might feel sad, right? Where we've been holding these places within ourselves that, again, people didn't show up how we would want them to be, or people left us or rejected us or abandoned us, or so we thought, or things have changed and shifted and we were not acknowledged in that energy of sadness. And as we do so, we begin to see like everyone is freaking just trying to live their lives and be okay. And ultimately, not everybody's okay. I mean, I know I'm not okay sometimes, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Sometimes, what's happening? And then other times when I feel all those feelings and I'm feeling connected with myself and I give myself space, all of a sudden, like, the joy comes back, the life force comes back, and I like can see, you know, to the horizon and what's happening and the potentialities, and it's pretty amazing. So if you're in a place where you feel like you can see the potentials, like you're really responding to your grief, and if you're not in that space and you are grieving, then there's a lot of sadness to be felt, and it's not to be put on anybody. It's just something to be felt and shared and connected with. I'm actually holding a women's gathering tomorrow personally here in Oahu with some wonderful women that I have met over the years. And we are going to watch this play that a friend of mine is putting together in LA, which if you are free, it actually is live stream and it's free. However, I think it's like 12 women sharing stories about womanhood and their experiences and what they faced as a woman. And I'm not singling any men out. Like, men have stories too. Like, I think like the masculine, feminine energy have literally been in, you know, power struggles right now. And we're both hurting. We're both sad. We're both feeling the big shift of what we expected but did not receive, right? And so with that, like, both sides are hurting and both sides have stories. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for jumping on. And as we listen with curiosity at their experience, at each person's experience, we can have compassion for the stories that they lived through, and also this hope for what we can transform it into, right? Because our stories don't have to define us. Our stories are something that we experience, but they don't have to be who we are. And the more and more that I feel these feelings, man, my energy field be getting clear. And what happens? It's like, boom, all the things that I didn't know would ever come true are coming true, right? Why? Because we're lightening the load, we're sharing it, we're being in this collective energy of really being able to go, human energy, human experience is fucked up sometimes, and you feel it too, I feel it too. Like, we're not trying to be perfect here, we're just living the lot we are drawn in life. We're utilizing our resources, we're trying to figure it out, and I don't think anyone has an idea of what it really is. But one thing I do know is that the more we empty our energy field, especially the emotions that we've accumulated that begin to turn into grief and grievances, we become lighter. And so let's do this. Let's clear some energy in this grief and see what kind of energy will come through for us at this time. All right. If you've never been here before, welcome. I use my pendulum and my Akashic records to kind of tune into the collective and pierce through that fourth dimensional energy so we can bring in 5D unity conscious love consciousness into this planet, anchor it in, and we can be this beautiful love and light for everyone around us, including ourselves. Like, I have been really taking more time for myself. Like, I want to go do the things, but I can feel it in my body. And I'm sure you do too. When you're very like attuned to yourself and you're feeling the alignments, you're like, oh yeah, like I promised to go here, but there's no fucking way. There's no way. I gotta stay home. I gotta be with myself. I gotta nurture myself because I'm like really deep in the sadness right now. And a lot of people are also sick. I also see that as a way to be with oneself. It's like, you know, through being sick, your body is like purging all of that sadness as well, you know, like, and taking a break sometimes, you know. Unfortunately, we have to have those moments if we don't allow ourselves that time. You know, I know for sure that I have not given that time in the past. And now that I do, I actually kind of feel guilty, right? And that's what we cleared last week, is like that guilt, that and anger that comes upon us when we don't take care of ourselves, right? And so for now, like, okay, when we take care of ourselves, like, wow, we can clear this deeper feeling of sadness and just be with ourselves. So is there something to clear around grief today? Do we need to look at grief or grievances? I'm feeling the grievances first, because it's like, it goes like the grievance. Well, what happens is we feel sad, we begin to feel grief, and then we project and begin to have the grievances on others. So we're going to work backwards, because that grievance piece is like large and in charge. Okay. What do we need to clear around grievance? These are higher level blocks. So we are looking at programs in the conscious mind of one. And when I look at that, that feels like these programs that have separated us from each other. And so we begin to see each other as different. We begin to see each other as an enemy sometimes. We begin to see the other as someone that needs to provide to us our needs and our wants and things that we haven't gotten. And then we project that out because they aren't doing that. And so when we separate and we assume and we expect these things, then it can turn into major grievances. And this begins to be a huge mind fuck in the fourth dimensional field, because it keeps us stuck in separation, keeps us stuck in the fear, keeps us stuck in the anger. So we're clearing that on all levels, layers. Cleared, accurate, complete. You know, I was working on a woman the other day, and she is going through a divorce, and it's been a couple years since they are still going through the divorce. They had to sell the house and whatnot, and they actually had a moment where they the husband was like, let's just have a barbecue, let's cook, let's talk about things. And ultimately she felt peace, she felt joy, and she felt a little confused. Like, does this mean I'm still supposed to be with him because he's being so nice? I'm like, well, what if we take it as a win in this moment in time, that actually you're kind of past the hurt, you're past the anger, and that you can actually communicate. And in that space, they were able to share apologies. They were able to share love, especially for being married for so long, and how powerful that they can release the grievances to get to the true connection of what has always been there and always will be there, which is so powerful, because now they can both have a buddy in a way of like knowing each other for so long that they can help each other. And whether it becomes a relationship or not, that's basically, you know, the step-by-step process they need to take to kind of find themselves again, to recognize who they are now that they are in this different space, because the old marriage cannot continue, right? It's a new evolved way of being. And from that, it's like we sometimes take that, you know, act of kindness of like, oh, maybe I made a mistake. And ultimately, no, it's like finally you got the energetic charge out of the way that you can actually tune in and feel the other's presence, the other one's love, instead of that, you know, porcupine, stabby energy that exists between you. And sometimes that just takes time. And sometimes that takes, you know, someone's own awareness. And when we have times of separation and more connection with ourselves, we begin to see those things. But when we're like at each other's throat and, you know, projecting these grievances out, then boom, you know, we're just creating more enemies, right? So we want to be in this place of more like seeing the other as, again, having their own reality, having their own experiences, realizing that sometimes they have different expectations, different ways of doing things than what we do. And it's time to really have, you know, connection with ourselves so we know what that is and we can communicate it, especially when it comes up in the moment, because then we can deal with it firsthand when it happens, rather than collecting the grievances and then literally exploding on another instead of actually resolving it in certain moments and times. Okay. Woo. I got to burp on that one because that one's a heavy one. Okay, is there something else to clear around the grievances? Yes. Where is it? We're going to miscellaneous blocks. And that is a heart vow. And heart vows often come with, I promise. I promise what? Let me go into this chart. Okay. What have we promised? I promise to protect myself at all costs, right? Think about that. I protect myself at all costs. That means we begin to limit ourselves and our experiences in ways of things that are showing up, because now we're like imprinting some ideas into our energetic field and thinking people will begin to like play that way or act that way. And so what we do is then we begin to erect a whole big screen, and we see through that screen our own experiences instead of actually what's happening, right? And like getting curious and asking people questions and finding out what people mean. We begin to go, oh, hell no freaking way, because this means that they're doing this and I must protect myself at all costs. So, you know, we can tell in a better way, which is awesome. And if you're interested, we have a new course called Realignment happening on Wednesday. And basically it's to really tune in to our own energetic fields and our bodies as we begin to recognize our own patterns, our own identities, our ways of being, that then really tell us what aligns and doesn't align. And that is powerful, because ultimately when you can tell within yourself what is in alignment and what's out of alignment, again, a lot of people are aligned with the wrong things because we protect ourselves from it. Like, you know, I vowed to not ever open my heart again because I was so hurt. Right? Well, that's kind of a distortion, right? And that means you're just going to limit yourself from the kind of love that actually wants to come in, which then generally attracts or connects with people with those frequencies that then hurt you, right? It's fascinating how that happens. So we want to get into a place where we don't need to protect ourselves, but we can really tune in and align to what is aligned with us instead of what's misaligned, because we have an idea of something, we have a projection of something, we have an expectation of something. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear the heart vow of protecting ourselves at all costs. And if this is resonating with you, drop a heart emoji down below, because man, I've been crying with a lot of my friends lately. And it's like being able to share these stories and open up and not hold it against ourselves, and realize that we're just learning through this, all of these experiences, that it's so powerful. Cleared, accurate, complete. Yes. All right. Is there anything else to clear around grievances? How about grief? Yes. What do we need to clear about grief today? We are looking at chart 10B. And it is self-punishment. Oh, self-punishment. Stop beating yourself over the head with a hammer. I know. I do it too. Dope, why did I make that mistake again? Dope, why did I do this or that? And it's a learning lesson, right? We begin to notice, like, okay, I can feel the energy, and I know that it doesn't serve me, and I'm still gonna try anyway, right? And then we try again in a different way, and it still doesn't work. And we're like, don't punish. And we're like, why are we doing it this way again? We're still in the same boat. And it's like, well, maybe, just maybe, you got to do something completely different, which then gives you space, gives you answers, gives you a different way of experiencing this whole situation that allows you to go, oh, I'm literally just punishing myself by staying in this predicament, doing the same things in different ways and getting the same results, instead of going, oh, I can trust my body and I can trust my heart. Like, it's really telling me what's true and aligned for me. So let's go ahead and clear the self-punishment. And instead of punishing ourselves, let's learn to trust ourselves and act from that place of trust. Even though, it feels scary, like trusting myself in the past, led me to different roads, but I was not very smart back then. And now that I'm more in tune with myself, my needs, my desires, what my energy feels like, I literally can lead myself out of danger, out of places and spaces that don't belong to me. And it's so powerful, because I'm timeline jumping. It's like life is creating now as I do things, and it's completely different, and it's so amazing. Thank you, ladies, for sharing all that. Lexi, Amanda, Michelle. Yeah, the heart right now is just wanting to have some space to weep all of this energy. Man, can you imagine if we really utilize this weekend to fully express our stories and weep, how much energy in the collective field will move and shift? Woo! Amazing. Okay. Anything else? Oh, yep. Especially around the self-punishment, I forgot to add that oftentimes we punish ourselves for having feelings, right? It's like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should just be over it already. I should be in a place where I'm better. And ultimately, again, emotions are energy in motion. And so when it's coming up and through you, what you're doing is rewriting your whole energy field and basically, again, creating new timelines. So to not punish yourself for continuously crying. Do not punish yourself for feeling that anger. It's telling you something. You just got to listen. All right. Anything else to clear around the grief? Yes. Let's see here. What is it? We are looking at 8B, which are archetypes. and there's not archetypes, pre-programs, a belief of outside left, show me where, helplessness. Like, we can totally be helped if we allow ourselves to grieve. Like, I don't know, it's been interesting to work with the emotions of sadness, right? I would not let myself, because it is vulnerable. It's like you curl up into a ball, you're bawling your eyes out, snot's coming out your nose, you're like super like feeling ugly and vulnerable. And yet when you're done, it's like, like kind of a relief, you know? It's like this energy like moves and you have new energy to create with. And so we feel so helpless, but what if you grieved? What if you felt the sadness and really sat with it and allowed it to transform you, to melt away the blocks, to melt away the energy that no longer serves you? Like, what would you create? And so we made a belief that we were helpless, and maybe we're not. Maybe crying is actually super powerful. And the whole idea of, what are you, weak? You know, especially to men when they cry, it's like, no, like that is strength. That is tapping into your soul energy. Like, how powerful is that? So let's go ahead and clear the helplessness, the belief of helplessness. Man, when I see men cry, and more of them are actually doing it because they're allowing themselves to feel, whew, so sexy. It also is so comforting because it's like they empathize, they feel, and they hold the space. And like that masculine energy can really truly come into protection in a way that holds the space for the feminine, for the feelings. And it's like when they feel, it's like we can all feel safe feeling. Cleared, accurate, complete. All right, anything else around this grief? No. So if we don't feel our sadness, it's going to turn into very long-term grief, which then will hold, and it hardens our hearts, it hardens our bodies, and then all of a sudden we can't hold this anymore, and then we're going to throw it out on other people and project it out on other people. We're going to start to see through this lens that, you know, people are unsafe and that they aren't going to do what we want them to do, and then it turns into this whole story that doesn't help, and then we get mad and we have these expectations, and then we assume, and then we're just living life alone and stuck in our homes because we don't want to go out anymore, when maybe all we have to do is feel and share it with somebody. So, you know, I encourage you to practice feeling sad and sitting with the sensations. And oftentimes it comes in at the heart and it feels like heavy. And be with that part of yourself, be with the energy, and allow it to like erupt through every pore of your cells and your skin and being, and let it go as it transforms and dissolves into something completely brand new. Anything else? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do a mop up. If Lexi says, today I was like, I could lie and say I'm not sensitive, but yes, in fact, I am sensitive, girl. Gut feels, and that's how an open heart beating be. Yes, amen to that. And it's true. It's like, we all feel. That's part of our humanness. That's actually the information. That's how we are guided in our circumstances. When you feel something that is off. You feel the connection with others. You feel the energetic field of what's going on, from the animals to the plants to the earth. Like, it's so freaking amazing. And we're all in the space right now where we're grieving, like, historically over many things that like came up that actually doesn't belong here and doesn't fit. We're grieving our own lives and things that we experience. We're just, there's a lot of grief. And the more that we feel it, the more that we can be in a new creation, a new space, because all of that is being transmuted, transcended, and returned to the one to be made brand new and create it into other things, more of the things we prefer. Like I keep hearing, like we have this opportunity to create this new golden age. And as we do, it is all about clearing our energetic fields of this emotional energy, this charge that we keep holding on to, so we can freely have some space within us to create from what we do prefer, instead of creating what we've been creating over and over and over again because we don't want to be hurt and we want to protect ourselves. That just creates more of the control, more of the protection, and more limitation. So thank you, Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, guides, guardian angels, for your love and support during this time of grief on a massive scale, especially here in the United States, as we honor those that we have lost and those military men and women who have fallen, and even our loved ones. Please be with them, especially those that are grieving their losses. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this heart that beats, that opens, that feels, so we may know ourselves, we may know our connection, and we may know the magnitude of how we can create with our feels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho, may it be so. Ding. Awesome. I'm going to drop the link for that play in the chat below. And also, if you are feeling called to work on this energy, we do have our course coming up, Realignment, on Wednesday. It's an 8-week course, and we would love to have you. Just DM me and we'll connect. And for you students that want to join, the class is free to you. So message me if you want to be a part of it. It's at 3 p.m. Hawaii, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope to see you in there. Mwah. Love and light. Talk to you soon. And enjoy your Memorial weekend and feel all the feels and reflect on who you are, what you are. And let's dissolve this energy and create anew. Love you. Bye. If you felt a shift today, this is just the beginning. Join us inside New Paradigm Healing Academy to go deeper into clearing, energy work, and soul remembrance. Subscribe, like, and share this with someone ready to release the old and embody the new. Together, we rise in frequency across all timelines.